Program 7. It's a mess. Wouldn't it be great if you could turn any problem into a wonderful opportunity? Well, this program is going to show you the first step to doing exactly that, and we're going to do that by using a sweet little old lady. Imagine your Aunt Edna, who just turned 80, suddenly decides to pay you a visit. As you open the door to welcome her, she begins to ask questions. Why are you wearing that old sweater? Why did you get your hair cut? Why is there dust on your treadmill? Why haven't you watered your plants? You can feel yourself starting to get angry, but all of a sudden you remember the program about delaying your judgment, relaxing, listening, and understanding. So you decide to try applying it here. As you begin to listen more intently, you realize that her questions are actually highlighting interesting opportunities. You may not know how to do it yet, but it would be great if you could get some new clothes. It would be great if you could get fitter. It would be great if you could find time to garden. Now, you may not see all of Aunt Edna's questions as opportunities. For example, you happen to like your new haircut and think she needs to have her eyes checked. But the point is that listening to the questions is making you think. The really interesting question about Aunt Edna's visit is why it was necessary at all. Why can't we see the problems ourselves? Well, there are a couple of reasons. The first has to do with how your clothes feel. Yes, we know we say the strangest things, but honestly, it will make sense. How do your clothes feel right now? Don't brush your hand against them. Think about how they feel on your body. The chances are that unless they're really uncomfortable, you can't feel them at all. And that's a good thing. Your mind naturally filters out familiar things. It does this so that you can concentrate on the strange and possibly threatening things you may come across. Now, being able to concentrate on threats is a good survival technique, but it has a side effect. After a while, you stop noticing familiar things, whether it's a pile of clothes on the floor or a pile of documents in the office. Basically, parts of your world just fade away, and that means you tend to accept things the way they are. The second reason we can't see problems is that most of us don't like them. Problems are worrying. They make us tense, and the bigger the problem, the more we worry about them. This means that when people point out problems, we often get quite defensive and try to deny they exist. Sadly, this isn't usually a very effective approach. So if spotting interesting problems is a key skill for focusing our creativity, and if we naturally try to stay away from problems, either because we don't see them or don't want to see them, how are we going to develop this skill? Well, there are at least 3 things we can do which will help. First, delay your judgment. Now, we realize that this is sounding a bit repetitive by now, but it is still the most important skill you can develop. When someone points out a problem, delay your judgment. Relax, listen, and try to understand. Now, this doesn't mean you have to agree to solve it. The problem might be nothing to do with you, but you can make sure you understand. Second, go somewhere new. Have you ever noticed how observant you become when you go to a new place? Suddenly you're full of questions and ideas about how it should be redecorated, or the customer service could be improved, or the products could be changed. You can see opportunities everywhere. So by making a point of regularly visiting different websites, stores, art galleries, or even countries, you can strengthen your problem-finding skills. Third, make friends with some Aunt Ednas. Invite people into your work. Show them what you do, and listen to their comments. Ask them how they might improve things. Now, it's possible that they might give you a great idea there and then, but even if they don't do that, they will probably be able to point out things which you've stopped seeing. However, before you try this one, remember that when you ask people to point out problems, they will do exactly that. And as we're all naturally defensive when it comes to problems, you'll really have to practice letting go of your judgment first. Okay, let's see if we can put some of this thinking into action. What we'd like you to do is this. Take a notebook and walk around your home or office. Pretend you've never been there before. If you want, you can pretend you're Aunt Edna or even an alien from another planet. And write down questions about anything which strikes you as strange. For example, ask yourself things like, why do they do that? Or, what's the point of this? Write down your observations. You don't need to answer these questions, just ask them. Being curious and asking questions is an essential skill of creative people, and Aunt Edna is highly creative. Pause the program and restart it when you have at least 15 questions. Welcome back. You can stop being Aunt Edna now. Take a few minutes to look at your list of questions and pick the most intriguing one. Remember not to judge your questions. It's particularly important not to worry about how you're going to solve them. Just pick the one which is of most interest to you. Now, developing your Aunt Edna skill is really important. Being able to look at any situation with a fresh mind is the key to spotting opportunities. So your task for today is to hold on to your fresh mind and to capture at least 25 more questions about your home or work life. See you in the next program.